Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here with me another 10 pens that I have currently inked up today for this currently inked video. So we'll just go through these pens briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Scribo feel, and this is in the Verde Prato. We have a Scribo feel, and this is the Verde Bosco. We have a Scribo feel in the blue grey, and a Scribo feel in the blue black. We have a Scribo 2 in the Noble Green. We have a Scribo 2 in the Cardinal Red. We have a Scribo 3 in the Bologna Blue. We have a Sailor 1911 large, and we have a Montblanc 146, and we have a Montblanc 149. So let's go through these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is the Scribo fill, and this is the lovely Verde Prato, and this is a limited edition version of the Scribo fill, but it is a really lovely material. And when I saw this material, I just had to buy this pen. And I'm glad that I managed to get it whilst I could, but these are very limited, and I'm pretty sure they're almost sold out now. You may still find them at some retailers, but this really is a beautiful pen. Now, I do love the Scribo feels and the Scribos in general. And the reason why I like them is because of the writing experience. And this has one of the best nibs that I have in my collection. And this is the Scribo Extra Flex nib. And this is modelled after, it's actually the same as the original Omas Extra Flessibile nib. And these nibs are lovely and bouncy. This is a 14 karat gold medium flex nib. I do like these medium nibs a lot, so for me this is a really lovely pen, and I actually like writing with this pen a lot. You can actually break these nibs in, and the nibs actually will get more bouncier over time, and for me this is a beautiful writing pen, and I do like the Scribos because of that. So people ask me what attracts me to the Scribo pens, and this is the main thing. It's a beautiful, stunning pen. It's a resin, it's not a celluloid. You would be mistaken if you thought that this was a celluloid. It's not, it's just a resin pen, but it's a beautiful resin. And then I have another Scribo fill, and this is its sibling, its brother or sister. This is the Scribo fill in the Verde Bosco. And again, this is another stunning material in its own right. And it's the same material as this one here. But this one, because it's in the Scribo feel, it's a faceted pen. And it's also in an hourglass shape as well. But again, it's the writing experience that really attracted me to these pens. So this has, again, another 14 karat medium flex nib on there. And these have ebonite feeds, and these write very lovely, very bouncy. You can get quite a bit of line variation out of these pens if you want to. People are always looking for a flex nib pen, and although these are not cheap pens, if you have the money to spend and you want a flex pen, I would go for something like this because it's a really good writer. Now, those are the limited edition models. We do have the non-limited edition models here. So we have, again, the Scribo feel, so it's a faceted pen, hourglass shape, and again, a 14 karat gold medium nib. Likewise, it's a 14 karat gold flex nib, but again, the writing experience on these are really nice. So all of these are piston filling pens. The nibs have broken in and do flex quite a bit, and you will see that in the writing sample a little bit. I don't tend to flex these pens massively, but I do like to have a little bit of bounce, a little bit of a cushion when I'm writing. I don't like a really sort of hard nib like a nail, although sometimes I do gravitate towards them, because I do find that they can write well, or they can be more consistent, but I prefer to have a cushioned, bouncing writing experience. And then inked up as well, I have again another Scribo fill, and this is the blue-black version, and it looks more black than blue, but it is a little bit more blue on the blue side, and you might be able to see that under the camera lights there, but studio lights. But it is again a lovely pen, and again the writing experience, 14 karat gold medium flex nib. I do love these medium nibs and the 14 karat golds. I've tried the 18 karat golds in a fine nib, and I believe an extra fine, and I've had a 14 karat in an extra fine that I've tried as well. But these I do like, and they come with ebonite feeds or ebonite feeders. But again, this is a good pen. Now these pens do not post, they're not designed to post. I know some people have said that they do post them, but it's not going to be consistent enough to stay on the pen. And this is what started me down this journey of Scribo. So I started out with a few OMAS pens, and I liked some of their writing experience, so I decided to get the Scribo, as I had found out that they were using the same OM81 nib that effectively OMAS were using. And for me, this was the start of my Scribo journey. And again, this is the same colour as this Scribo Fill Bosco, Verde Bosco, but it's in a round pen. And so you can actually see there's quite a bit of difference there going on. So if I actually bring this pen up here, you'll see the difference there. But it is the same colour and the same resin material. And again, like, I started out, because I do like medium nibs, so I started out with a 14 karat gold medium flex nib on here, and this has the Right Here logo, because this is a Right Here exclusive. Right Here, if you don't know, are Right Here pens in the UK, and they are a online and high street fountain pen shop, stationery shop as well, in Shrewsbury in the UK. And they used to be the original OMAS UK distributors, and they have worked with Luca Baglioni, John Hall at Right Here had worked with Luca Baglioni quite a bit prior to the demise of OMAS, and I'm glad to see that he managed to keep that relationship going, and he was able to create some lovely pens with Luca. And then we have the Scribo 2. I have this inked up as well, and this is the Cardinal Red, that was the Noble Green, and these both came out at the same time. So this was, we think about this, it was summer 2017. Yes, because we're summer 2018 actually, because we're 2019 at the moment. So again, this is a Right Here exclusive, and this is a really, really lovely pen again. And shock horror, it's a 14 karat gold medium flex nib, but again, it's a pen that writes really well, and it has a lot of red chatoyance going on there in that resin. I do like these resins. I would like to still see some celluloids from Scribo in some future pens, and I'm pretty sure they will get there eventually. Celluloids are more harder to work with, plus they're more expensive, and at the end of the day, you need to look at the amount of profit when you're a pen maker, certainly when you're mass producing pens, on how much you can charge and how much profit you can make per pen. And Scribo do not have any distributors, so they do sell direct, so they are in essence sort of maximizing their profits and not having them eroded in a distribution channel. But there's also only so many limited pens that they can make at a given time as well. And then 2019. This is the new model, and this came out in the summer again. Again, this is another Right Here exclusive, and this is the Scribo 3. And this is aptly named the Bologna Blue because Scribo are from Bologna in Italy. And again, this is a Right Here exclusive, and I'm glad that I was able to pick this up as well because this is again another really nice Scribo pen. And I ummed and ahed on whether or not I should go for an 18 karat gold nib, but in the end I went for the medium nib. So you can see a little bit of ink creep going on there on that nib. But again, it's a 14 karat gold medium nib, but this pen is quite a stunner. And blue pens typically sell quite well for most retailers, so I think this is going to be a pen that will sell very well for Right Here, and probably sell quicker than the Noble Green and the Cardinal Red. More lately, I've been liking green pens, so I have been going for green pens, but I also like blue a lot. And then we have this Sailor 1911 large, and this is the executive model. So this is effectively a 1911 large with a specialty nib, and this is one of the earlier nibs. So this is a naginata-togi nib, and you'll see here the tip of the tines there, that nib. The tipping is actually like a swordfish, and it's typically also called an architect nib. And instead of having like with a broad nib or a stub nib where you have thicker verticals and narrow horizontals, it's the opposite. So you would actually have a narrow vertical and a thicker horizontal. And it just gives a little bit of extra flair to your writing experience. So I do like the architect nibs, and I've been grinding some architect nibs as well over the last year and been getting better and better at it. But that's what started me out down the architect version of a nib, by going for the Sailor. And then also have two pens here. Now, a lot of people ask me, why don't I have any Montblancs? Well, actually I do. This is a Montblanc 146. This is aptly named the Legrand, and this is a piston filling pen, and I do have two Montblancs in my collection. This I bought because of the nib, and it is a double broad. Now you won't see it marked on there, but it is a really, really lovely broad nib. So for me, I wanted to try a Montblanc, and to start with I got the 149, which I'll show you in a moment. But I decided to get this one second, and because it had a double broad, which is a little bit more rarer to get hold of, I decided I would try and get one. And you have an ink window here, and it is inked up, so you can't actually see through the ink window at the moment. But this is actually quite a nice pen. I don't write with it enough. I'm not really into black pens, so if I'm going to pick up a pen, I typically go and pick up a sort of Scribo or something else. I don't go for these black pens, but that's the Montblanc 146 Legrand. And then, as I mentioned, I also have the 149, which is the bigger brother or bigger sister. And this is more of a Pelican M1000 size. This is inked up. You can see the ink window here, and it's not got a lot of ink left in it. So I'm not going to re-ink this up. I'm actually just going to try and use the ink in here. Hopefully it won't run out, and I will then be cleaning this pen and putting it back into storage. But this has a number 9 size nib, so this is the Montblanc 149. The 9 in 149 is to designate the number 9 size nib. The 6 in a 146 is a number 6 size nib. Now, this is an extra fine nib, and this also has a little bit of an architect grind going on. And I've spoken to a number of people that have had Montblancs or do have Montblancs, and they all say the same thing, that the finer the nib on Montblanc, they tend to find that there is more of an architect like grind going on with them. So I don't know if that's the same with all Montblancs because I only have two. I would like to get some writer's edition models at some point, but there aren't a lot of Montblancs that actually speak to me. So I wanted to get a 149, and that was my first Montblanc, and then I got the 146. But maybe at some point I will pick up some writer's edition models at some point down the line in the future. So I think let's do a writing sample now. So the first pen, we'll do an ink swatch. And you can see here, this is a very light, grassy green colour ink. And this is the Scribo feel. And it's the Verde Prato, and it is a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. Now you might be able to hear there is a lot of pencil feedback to these, but they're actually nice feedback. They're not like sort of grating or scratchy or toothy type feedback. So it's more like a pencil would write on a paper. Now the ink in here is Pilot Orochizuku, and it's Chikurin, and that is a lovely, lovely green ink. And I have been using that ink a lot. The next pen, again, is another Scribo. Obviously, we have a lot of Scribos here today, and they're all inked up. So this is a much darker green ink, and this is one of my favourite greens. It's quite a wet writing ink. So again, this is the Scribo feel, and it's the Verde Bosco. And again, it's a medium. And again, it's a 14 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Akamon, and it's Bezuden Woodgron. But it's actually one of my favourite green inks. It's a lot of people say that it looks quite similar to Diamine Sherwood Green, and it does, but it's not as dark. And then we have again another Scribo, and this one again is another wet writing pen, and quite a wet ink as well, I would say. So this is the Scribo fill, and this is in the blue-grey. And it's a medium 14 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Pilot Orochizuku, and it's Kirisami. And again, that's one of my go-to grey inks. And then we have again another Scribo. And again another wet writing nib, but also a wet ink. So this is the Scribo fill in the blue-black, and it's again a medium 14 karat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Orochizuku, and it's Kujaku, which is an ink I thought I would like to start with, and then when I got it, it wasn't really the colour that I wanted. But then I started using it, and now I started to love it more. And I think we all go through those sort of ranges with inks where at one moment we like it and the next moment we don't. So that's an ink that I have been using a lot more lately. And we have another Scribo. And again, another wet writing nib, and also ink. So this is the Scribo 2 in the Noble Green, and it's a medium 14 cat gold nib, and the ink in here is Ackerman, and it's Dutch Masters, and it's Van Hoyesom's Sap Gron. Now, that was actually my grassy green ink that I really, really loved until I discovered Chiku Rin, which now I like even more. But that is a lovely, lovely green ink. And then we have the Cardinal Red in the Scribo 2. And again, this is a very wet writing nib. So this is the Scribo 2 in the Cardinal Red. And it is again a medium 14 carat gold nib, and the ink in here is Pelikan Edelstein Ruby. Now this is not the 2019 edition, this is just the regular non-ink of the year. And then we have the final Scribo, and this is a new pen, and although it's a medium nib, it puts down more of a fine nib, but it's still quite wet. And I haven't flexed this nib a lot, so it will actually open up more the more I write with it. So this is a Scribo, and this is the 3, and it's the Bologna Blue. Again, it's a medium 14 carat gold nib, although to me that writes more like a fine nib. And then the ink in here is Robert Oster, and it's Blue Water Ice. But again, that's a lovely blue ink. And then we have this Sailor, and this is one with the Naginata-togi nib. So you can kind of see there that the horizontals are a little bit wider than the verticals. So it kind of acts a little bit like a paintbrush in terms of the thickness of the line. So this is a Sailor 1911, and it's a large, and it's a naginata-togi, and it's a 21 carat gold, as that's what Sailor does in their nibs. And then the ink in here is Franklin Christoph Sweet Maroon. but you can kind of see the difference here in the writing, that it's not only a little bit more broader, but it's the horizontals that are more broader than the verticals. And then we have the Montblanc 146, and this is just a paintbrush. This is a double broad nib, and you can see here it's very hard to control, and this is why I don't write with this a lot, because it is a very wide pen. And then you can see here Montblanc 146, and this is a double broad nib, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Lamy blue. But you can see that is a very, very broad writing pen. And then we have the final pen, and this is the Montblanc 149. And this is more like an extra fine nib. And it really is. It's and I don't normally like extra fine nibs, so this is a Montblanc 149 EF, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Montblanc lavender purple. Now, I do find that this nib, because I don't normally go for extra fines or fine nibs, this does have a lot of feedback on it. It's not toothy, and it's bordering on the line of scratchy, but it's not scratchy, but it's just what to expect from an extra fine nib, and I don't normally go for extra fine nibs. So I think let's just go through these inks one more time. We have a Scribo fill in the Verde Prato in a medium, 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Washizuku Chikurin. We have a Scribo fill Verde Bosco in a medium, 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Akamon Bazoodan Woodgrown. We have a Scribo fill in the blue grey in a medium, 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Washizuku Kirisami. We have a Scribo fill in the blue black in a medium, 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Washizuku Kujaku. We have a Scribo 2 in the noble green in a medium, 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Akamon Dutch Masters Van Huysem's Sapgroen. We have a Scribo 2 in the cardinal red with a medium, 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Pelican Edelstein Ruby. We have a Scribo 3 in the Bologna blue in a medium, 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Robert Oster Blue Water Ice. We have a Sailor 1911 large, and this has the Naginata-togi nib, and it's a 21 karat gold nib, inked up with Franklin Christoph Sweet Maroon. We have a Montblanc 146 in a double broad 18 karat gold of a paintbrush nib, inked up with Lamy blue. And we have the Montblanc 149 in an extra fine 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Montblanc lavender purple. So there you have it. That's my currently inked for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.